Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Mylissa with her movie, Things I Made My Roommate Do. Let's take a look at the clip.
I can do this. I can fucking do this. Okay, but okay, I think that's agreed. I think we've come to the conclusion that this is something that I need to do.
Yes.
But can you come with me?
Am I going to come with you to tell some girl that you're in love with her?
It could be fun.
Nothing about that sounds fun.
Mylissa, thank you for being with us. Welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family. I love seeing your film up on the big screen yesterday. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course.
So Things I've Made My Roommate Do is part one of a 5-part series. It's a little bit of a rom-com.
Yeah.
It's about Max and Olivia, who are friends and roommates. And Max is this kind of hopeless romantic, always in love with a new girl. And he goes to Olivia for all his love advice, completely clueless that she herself is in love with him. So she makes sure to give him all the advice that he asks for, like how to get girls and like what does he need to do, and they always end up backfiring, and so
it's so much fun, and guys are so flipping clueless. They don't see it right in front of their eyes, don't see that someone's in love with them. But anyways, it's really fun watch. I actually, honestly, once I watched the first, I was like, I want to watch the second one now. Like I was ready for them all. So glad to see that there's more episodes. Where did the inspiration come for you in making this particular project?
Yeah, I mean, I had a roommate who I was not in love with, but who was always in love with somebody, and he basically one Christmas Eve, he could not stop talking about this girl, and I finally was like, you need to do something about it, you need to tell her now. And so that's how it all started. Was the short was inspired by this moment that I had in real life with a roommate of mine. And I really also, I wanted to do something more fun and lighter. I had come off of 4 really dark, kind of little intense emotional films, and I really wanted to just have fun with friends. And so I'm a big rom-com fan.
Yeah.
And so this was sort of my homage to rom-coms. So
amazing. Well, I'm glad. Listen, as much as we love all of the dark stuff that you brought as well, it's lovely to see that you're delving into rom-coms, and it's not easy as well. It's not easy actually going and switching to comedy as well. How like firstly, I just want to commend your actors because they played off so well off each other, and they were really entertaining to watch, and you really followed through on the drama they were going through. How do you work with your actors in creating this? Of course, it's part of a longer series. So how was that? How do you cast? How do you bring all together? And how was it directing?
They're great. This is actually their first films that they had been in.
It's amazing.
And so in working with them, I don't necessarily think that working in comedy or drama or horror in directing is that much more different than working in actors. But for them, I just really wanted them to be comfortable in front of the camera because it was their first time. So we did a lot of talking, we did a lot of hanging out and just really getting to know each other as people, and then allowing them to just really have fun and play with it. Originally we had shot the film and it was a completely different version in the way that it was shot and the way that it was acted. And because we had some technical issues and some footage had been lost and didn't work out, we had to actually reshoot the film.
Wow.
So we decided when we reshot the film that even though we loved this version that we had originally did, we didn't want to go back to that because it was a little bit heartbreaking to have to shelf that version.
Yeah.
So we went a totally different direction with this version.
Wow.
And so we slowed it down a lot for them, and we kind of hyped up a little bit more of the drama aspect versus the comedy aspect. So we really wanted to show Olivia, who's played by Georgia Richardson. We really wanted to show a little bit more of her because the whole series does central around her. And so we made it so that we worked together as in creating these characters that could be so relatable versus just like parodies of rom-com characters. And so everything had to be grounded in some sort of reality, and the reality of unrequited love is pretty relevant that everyone could relate to.
Yes. Sadly, your film is. We've all been there, or you might head there. We hope not, though.
Yeah.
But no, it's nice because I think we've really got a warmth to both the characters. So it's nice because I feel like it leaves us like wanting more. And well done on the reshoot, because you know that's not an easy to do, and it's quite heartbreaking. So well done, because you did obviously a great job. What was in making this film, apart from having to reshoot the whole thing? Was there any kind of challenges that felt differently to other projects in this film?
Yeah, I mean, well, personally, this was the first time I've ever done something so light and like fun and easy. The general consensus is like, this is a very sweet, fun film. And that's not normally the genre that I work in. So for me, that was a challenge, just to be able to show like a lighter side of the types of films that I can or cannot make. I mean, it's up to people to decide if they like it or not.
Yeah.
And so, but other than like those kind of personal challenges, the only really challenge of making this film or reshooting this film was actually like budget constraints.
Yeah.
Because our budget was used on the first one. And so this kind of reshoot meant that we didn't have a budget.
Yeah.
And so the idea of reshooting a whole entire short film and to get it to where we liked it and wanted it, but with no budget, was a bit of a challenge for us. And I think it's a testament to the people who came to work on it, like my DP, Adriana Serrato. She was like, I love these characters so much. I don't want to shelve them. She's part of the reason I did the reshoot. She convinced me to do the reshoot is because she herself felt like she wanted to not get rid of these characters and have it. So she, was like, we'll do it. We'll figure out a way to do it. So we had a very incredibly small crew. We had like 3 people. And then, you build this network of friends and filmmakers, and everyone wants you to succeed, and it's very important that you surround yourself with those people. And so a lot of people were like, hey, I'll help you. What do you need? And so it was really, really validating to see that these people were like, I believe in you. I like these characters. I like this idea that you're doing. Let's do it. Let's figure it out with like no budget to micro budget. So
well, that's testament to you, because obviously everyone wants to work with you as well, and that's also very sweet. But I love you really have developed some characters that we want to see more of. And but what was it like? What's it like? Obviously going through all those different experiences. What's it like seeing your film on the big screen? It's a little different when you're on a laptop or you're watching it. Like how has that experience? How has that experience been for you, especially with something lighter?
It's for me. Personally, when I watch something like that, I get incredibly proud, not for myself, but for the people who actually worked on it with you. The process of making a film is so important. And if you have if a filmmaker or, a director has a really good experience making it, I think it shows on the screen. And I think for me in this project, it started out a little bit bumpy, and then so having to do the reshoots and having to create a different version of these characters, and then to see that on the screen, I was very proud. I was very proud of the work that everyone put into it, and I was very proud of something that everyone clearly enjoyed making, because I could see that up there. And so that's always really important to me, is the experience of making a film is always greater than the actual film itself. Yeah, definitely. And that's when you get to see it on the big screen, it realizes, this is why we did it. Yeah.
So obviously we're in the first episode of 5, is that right? Yeah. So what can you give us allude to us what we're kind of going to go into next, what we're going to follow in the series?
Yeah, so we're actually going to shoot all 4, hopefully March-ish, back to back.
Oh, wow.
And so, with like every rom-com, there's a little bit more obstacles that Max has to go through, and there's some really bad advice that Olivia gives to him. And then there's always the self-realization of the girl that he's always wanted is actually right in front of him. But is it going to be too late?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Oh my God, I love it. So you're going to do back-to-back in March?
Yeah, it's easier that way. Both actors are from the UK, and so we're going to fly them out, and we're going to just go for it. Hopefully.
As a Brit, I was so confused by that because I was like, hang on a minute, they're British, but this is in the States.
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
Well, originally I had actually shot it in the UK when I was there, and so, but also, I mean, in casting wise, I'm a big fan of like the Hugh Grant phase of rom-coms,
90s,
and so
yeah.
I really was like, I need to find like a bumbling British man who is got the floppy hair.
Yeah,
and so,
yeah. We would play the rom-com guy or the serial killer, one of the two.
Yeah.
But no, that's fantastic. Well, I'm glad that you've reached. So flying them out, and we're going to continue the next part of the series. You know, looking back on the projects and the projects that you've made as well, for filmmakers out there, people that just want to get their work done as well, and even creating something that's a series like this as well. Do you have any kind of advice that you've learned or go by that's important to you?
There's so much advice. I think ultimately what comes down to even creating films is to a few things. One is imposter syndrome is very real, and you're always going to be comparing yourself to your peers or other people, and it's just very important to just kind of stay true to the type of filmmaker that you would want to be and the type of stories that you would want to tell. There's always going to be a home for those type of movies. And so, but when you start comparing yourself to other filmmakers, especially your peers who like kind of maybe are advancing faster than you, that's going to put doubt in the type of filmmaker that you are or you want to be and the stories that you want to tell. And soon you're creating stuff for the wrong people and not yourself. And so I think it's very important to kind of always keep reminding yourself, who am I and what type of filmmaker am I and what kind of stories that I want to tell, and kind of stay true to that. And I think that only other advice is like, you know, it takes a long time. It takes a while. And try to not be so impatient. I'm an impatient person. And just know that when you put the hard work in, eventually people are going to notice that. And when they notice the hard work that you've done, and they'll come to you. And so there's going to always be opportunities. So even if you miss an opportunity, don't feel like that's your only opportunity. More will come along. Just don't be so impatient.
That's such great advice. We don't hear that very often, but that's really
and drink
fantastic.
Water, hydrate.
Hydrate, everybody. Hydrate on set, absolutely. And just to finalize, so obviously you're moving into March, you're making the next 4 episodes. What's beyond that? What's the next plans for the rest of the year? Yeah,
so I currently have my second feature in post.
Amazing.
So looking forward to finishing that. It's a different type of film for me as well. It's a road trip light drama.
Excellent.
So there are no deaths, but there is a lot of emotional roller coasters that the characters will go through in determining and figuring out who they are and the types of people that they want to be as they move across America.
That's amazing. So, and you currently have one of your films on the stream platform as well, right?
I do. Yeah. My first feature is called Everything in the End, and it's you can watch it on like Amazon Prime or iTunes or various other video on demand places.
Excellent. Well done, Mylissa. Thank you for bringing this series to us. I'm geared for the next one. So we'll get to see them on is there a place we can go and watch them eventually? Or are you going to put out to the festival circuit?
I think we'll see how this first one does through the festival circuit, and then by the time we finish this festival circuit with this one, the other ones will be ready, and we'll either maybe throw them all online and tease them out.
Yeah.
Or we'll see what happens.
Well, you teased me. I'm ready for the next. But listen, thank you so much for bringing this film to us. Looking forward to seeing the next. Best wishes with the production of that and your post-production of the next feature. But thank you very much, Mylissa. Really appreciate it.